Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Level Up Podcast, episode 13 this week.
So lucky number 13.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened and how
Yeah.
we got here, but
It's fun.
yeah, we're here.
Yeah, I actually look forward to these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I gotta say today's Monday. We were supposed to do this on Friday, but
Yeah.
certain things came up and we had to push it. But we're here creating for you guys now, so all good.
Mm-hmm. So I apologize for myself for not getting this done.
Sorry. For the one person who was looking to, for the individual who was looking forward to our podcast.
Exactly. There's more I know out there hoping to see this.
Yeah, eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so episode 13, the subject matter is character first, leveling up from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our discussion for today. Excuse me. Welcome back to another episode where we dive deep into the mindsets of habits, principles that help you live a more successful, fulfilling life. And I'm Deanna.
I'm Huey.
Huey. Yep. And today we're tackling a topic that's the foundation of true leadership, trust, and long-term success. The importance of having a strict moral code and strong character. In today's world, where there's lots of shortcuts, quick wins, and surface-level success are constantly tempting us, it's easy to forget that character is what sustains real achievement. Your values don't shape your choices, they define your legacy. So today, we're asking the hard questions about what it means to hold yourself to a higher standard and why your moral compass may be the most powerful tool you own.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for this topic?
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's jump in.
So the first question is, sorry, technical difficulty. Why does having a strong moral code mean to you, and why do you believe it's essential in today's world?
Well, I think, in my experience, I can't really speak for anyone else, but, I'm human, so in the past I've tried to cut corners and get that quick result, and I'd say about 99.9% of times it's, ended up, coming back to me in a negative scenario.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whereas when I've done things the right way, the way where you can't see the trees through the forest, so to speak, and you really you do it with integrity, you do it with intention. That's gonna fall.
Yeah. Thank you.
It usually takes longer, but things generally work out.
And they stay. Yeah.
And they stick. So, I don't want to sound, and we talked about this before, I don't want to sound preachy. People, to each his own, man. Like, do whatever works for you. There's a lot of people who cut corners and actually do really well. For me, though, and my karma, it's not for me. Yeah. I have incredibly good karma, but that's because you have to work at it. I cultivate it. Yeah. Yeah, I lead with integrity as much as humanly possible, and in terms of karma, for me anyway, once again, I can't speak for anyone else. The minute if I were to do one little thing that I know I shouldn't do it that way, my karma comes back real quick. And that's the price you pay for having amazing karma. You have to sustain it. It's like taking care of a plant, or taking care of a bunny, taking care of baby bunnies. You have to basically put the work in.
That was doing the right thing.
No, that was doing the right thing. Yeah. I'm saying, oh my, have they not gotten big?
Yeah, they're huge.
Like, you keep looking at them going, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're that big. It's only been 4 or 5 weeks now.
I don't even think it's been that long.
Yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, and they're so cute.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
Oh, they're adorable. Love them. Okay, back on topic.
So, sorry about that.
Oh, I should mention for you, those of you who don't know, Deanna and I, just downstairs her place, there were these 2 baby bunnies that were basically, I believe, abandoned by their mom. They were basically alone, and one of them was running on the street, and then the other one was just basically hovering in the shrub. And so we just made an executive decision that if we don't do something about them, they probably won't be around. So,
and they were there the day before.
the weekend before,
Yeah.
they were there for a few days.
So that's why Huey and I stepped in.
Then picked them up and gave them a home and have been taking care of them. And it's been a wonderful experience.
And so glad Global Pet Store was open that night.
Shout out to Global. Gave us all of the stuff that baby bunnies needed. They actually were like a little handful. They were that small.
And now they're a big handful.
Yeah, now they're independent, doing their own thing. They slept in yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they lounged all day Sunday. Yeah, love them. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think everybody's always looking for the quick answer and the quick solution in today's world. Like everybody's looking for the quick fix. Like, what can I take to solve my health problems instead of working on their health problems?
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do though with attention span and sort of, life hacks. I think people are basically, they've got literally everything. Everyone's on Amazon time.
Yeah.
We want it yesterday. No one's really willing to suffer for anything anymore. It's just not part of the human experience today.
Yeah.
Right? You need something, you pick up the phone or you go on the internet and you order it. It's there within 24 hours. So people want other aspects of their life to operate more or less the same. Who wants to wait for, results? When you could get it by
tomorrow.
By hacking or taking a shortcut, so to speak. So, I think the problem with that is that you lose the benefit of patience and just going through the motions. I think you lose any growth that you could have had by actually, doing the work. It's like years ago when we had to do homework. I think the process was actually where you learned. You didn't learn from getting the answer. Somebody could give you the answer, but if you didn't actually go through the steps to get to that destination of the right answer,
you don't remember it.
You don't remember it.
It
doesn't become part of you, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't help form your character. I mean, whatever you do, whatever you cultivate, whatever you build, whatever you have to actually work at, that's where you get character growth from. So if someone's just giving you the answers, chances are you're not going to grow much.
Yeah, very true. Okay, so question 2. How do you think character influences success, not just in business, but everyday life?
Well, that's a tough one, you see, because today it's, I think it's heavily debatable, what different people, consider success. Like for some it's money, for some it's peace, for some it's travel. I mean, a lot of people are steering away from traditional ideas of success. So, some people that to live and work remotely is success, right? And I think the whole sort of standard of 2 cars, 2.5 kids, and the house in the suburbs, and the retirement account, and $1 million in stocks in the market. I don't think that's, I personally don't think it ever represented, a feeling of contentment and happiness. I think it represented a certain amount of financial success and financial freedom. I mean, if you look at the, 2-3 generations before, most people lived below the poverty line, right? So you only had I don't know what, I've never looked at the stats or whatever, or where the world's wealth was concentrated, but I think it was in a very small percentage of households, of families. And so it's only recently, I think within the past 3 or 4 decades, that wealth became something that everyone had access to, right? So I think people were defining their quality of life and their happiness by their financial accomplishments, but I really don't think that that's a good mark for what success is. And I think people are finding that out because once you actually go out there and you cut corners and you do whatever it takes to gain that, that financial success anyway, you have to live with the choices you made.
Yeah. And I guess if you can, then it's fine.
Oh, that's fine. Sure.
And if you have a hard time sleeping at night, then
was it worth the effort?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I really think it's situational. I mean, the thing is that the person who comes from absolute struggle, absolute hardship, absolute just terrible situations, you can't basically say to them, I'm going to hold you to a higher moral compass. I'm going to basically expect you to build character. They're on the hustle.
Yeah, they're just trying to
They're
survive.
just trying to survive.
They're trying to make sure they can get through their week, or their day, their week, their month.
Yeah, but I also saw this study where a lot of these people who basically have done all these things to survive, there comes a time where once they've hit a certain amount of clarity and just solid footing, so to speak, they then have to look back at what they did to get there, and a lot of times the stuff they did haunts them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. That becomes a struggle because once you're not in that fight anymore,
yeah, you have a different perspective.
Right?
And you're like, oh,
why did I have to go through all that just to get here? I should have basically been just given here because wherever you get to, I don't know what the time frame is, 3 months, 6 months, but eventually you're going to take it for granted.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask yourself, well, what's next? And everything I sacrificed, everything I did to get here, was it really worth the sacrifice? That's why if you could basically figure out what it is you love, better yet, who you love too, and
work on those things.
It'll come together. And it doesn't matter if you attain incredible, material success. You would already have the things that you actually truly care about.
Yeah.
Anything else will be a bonus or gravy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So question 3. Can you think of a time when sticking to your values cost you something in the short term but paid off in the long term?
Me, I'm totally value guy. I'm totally if I live by a strict code.
Yeah.
And I rarely break that code for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in my experience, once you start compromising your belief system, you could end up in some pretty different places than you basically, because of my situation, and at a young age having to sort of go out there and fend for myself, I realized that there were certain influences that I would become vulnerable to. And so in order to basically counteract that and make sure that I never went down such a tragic road that I couldn't because remember, up until 18, my life was pretty well perfect. I had such an ideal childhood. So I knew I would sort of veer off that course. It had no choice. I mean, at that point, it's really just about survival. You had to figure out a way to basically get through it and feed yourself and clothe yourself and find, shelter. And it was really basically that's where I was. So, but I also knew that if I allowed myself to get too far down that slippery slope called life, just trying to survive, there comes a point of no return.
Yeah, you can't get back out.
Yeah, so I developed my code back then where I said to myself, okay, there are certain things, and I knew better because, like I said, up until that point, up until 18, I had the value system. I had, I knew what society expected of you. I knew where the line was. I wasn't even close to the line until, you had to go and fend for yourself. And, then it's kind of like, well, there are no safety nets here. There's no one's policing my act. Literally, I could do whatever I want. But at the same token, I was going to be the only one facing the consequences of my decisions. So at that point, I decided, well, let's just do what we need to do to get through this. It was a very shallow existence. I never delved too deep into anything or anyone or because I figured until I find a situation that that I want to be a part of. I'm I think the movie was in Heat. Don't commit to anything that you can't, leave in 60 seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
It was around that, but you understand? Yeah. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro were in a cafe and they had that discussion, and that's kind of how it was. I didn't that there were girls or people I liked, I met, but I was just like, well, I'm not even close to being able to entertain a healthy relationship in that situation. So I'm not going to bring somebody else into that situation. It's not fair to them.
True.
I don't know how this is going to turn out, and the circumstances that I had to basically navigate were let's just say they weren't offering wonderful solutions. So that's where I developed my code, and that was a big part of it. Don't make your problem somebody else's,
True.
Like that's even with you and hanging out with you all these years. I made sure that unless I brought value to your life and your existence and your journey, like if that ever were to stop, it would be time for us to part ways. But I made sure that you were always growing in some way, getting and that I had a clear understanding of where you wanted to go. And so whatever I did basically had to help enable you to get closer to your, because that you've actually, created a situation for me to basically be the best version of myself. And to have that code.
Yeah.
And to basically be accountable. So obviously I'm going to basically give you the best of that because, in many ways, if it wasn't for you, I probably might have to resort to shortcuts. You do what you must. I mean, within reason. I'm not stupid. I basically have had, wonderful jobs and so forth. But we're talking
different opportunities.
Yeah, I've had different opportunities, but this is what I want. Right here, exactly where we are, is where I want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wouldn't have gotten here. I wouldn't have gotten to this space if there wasn't a pretty rigid code,
and just the fact of stick-toing it.
Yeah, stick-to-itiveness. Yeah. You don't get here without basically being accountable. They don't let you. Like the most people. I've learned they'll wait for you to slip up and they'll use that against you to hold you back. And so it's essential that you do develop a code of some sort.
Okay. So question 4, maybe we already talked about this. Why do you think people are often tempted to compromise their moral code, and how can we resist those temptations?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. So
the short answer is that people don't. Today it's like it's instant gratification.
And
people,
if you're in a survival mode, you just do what you got to do.
You do what you have to do, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But the thing is that hopefully it's leading to something. Otherwise, that becomes your playbook. And you can't do that in relationships. Like a lot of people try to do that in relationships today.
Yeah.
And you see where those relationships end up. And it's funny because you'll see two people, perfectly normal, and then one person will basically do something to the other, and then that person will actually take what happened to them and do it to a new person, and it's sort of like a vicious cycle that just continues.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the price of not having a code or a compass. Something basically saying, look, I mean, regardless of whatever my past experiences, like I've been hurt before, you've been hurt before, right? But I would not bring that to someone else because it's not their fault.
No, they didn't.
They weren't the ones basically who caused whatever pain or so. Why would I but people they do it all the time. They hold strangers accountable for what happens to them in the past, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you're acting like someone who basically hurt you in the past, if you're behaving like that victim again,
it's gonna happen. Yeah, just a matter of time. Okay. Wow, we're ahead of chat for once. Question 5. What role does accountability, either to ourselves or to others, play in maintaining a strong character?
Okay, so I think accountability really is, it's us doing what's right even when it's inconvenient.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when it doesn't feel like, even like when we don't want to. I think there's a saying goes, basically, do the right thing even when no one's looking.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's rare today.
Integrity.
That's integrity.
So,
it pays off in so many ways, but people don't understand that. Like, if you do a short-term move or a short-term hack, you get short-term results.
Yeah, it's not a long-term legacy thing.
Not a long-term legacy. And you develop relationships like that.
Yeah.
All your relationships become short-term relationships. Like, real relationships, they require a certain amount of, obviously, integrity, but they also require a tremendous amount of transparency and honesty. And you're not always going to like what you see in the other person.
True.
A lot of times you won't, but you work through it. Right? I think when you take a shortcut, you want to show somebody what you think they want to see.
Yeah.
Right? And so you bamboozle them, or you basically you give them, you run game on them. But eventually you're gonna mess up because you've already started. Once you start down that road,
it's just hard to come back.
Well, it's filling potholes, right? It's filling potholes, and you're gonna get another scenario in the future, right? Similar scenario, similar situation for you to basically act towards your partner or friend or significant other, family member, whatever. And then if you don't respond exactly how you responded when it happened in the past, you're busted. Because that's one of the things of operating with, a high moral code. I didn't want to use the word moral, but a high code or a high accountability code. Yeah. Because people will have a sense of who you are. It's a legacy you're building. It's. Yeah. I know what.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Finish. I was just going to say, like, even having accountability to yourself makes you a better person as well.
If you don't trust yourself,
you can be prideful in what you've done.
If you don't trust yourself, why would I trust you?
Yeah.
If you're not going to tell the truth to yourself, if you're not going to basically be a transparent and open, and accountable person to yourself, you're certainly not going to put the effort in to be like that with me. And being accountable is basically doing what you need to. Look, half the times I don't want to do what I need to do, but I do it. Absolutely.
But you still do it.
Yeah, but that's what
to get done.
But that's what separates, I think, a quality life with one of, okay, well, who would you rather hang around with as a best friend? Somebody who basically talks a good game, or somebody who follows through on everything?
Somebody who follows through.
Somebody who follows through. And, honesty is a very expensive habit that a lot of people can't afford. So, chances are, if you're with people who, don't value that, or don't value accountability, or don't value, just a code. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do everything right, but just let me know who you are.
Yeah.
Just don't lie about who you are.
Yeah, and just be invested in yourself to do that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when you meet people and you engage them, say, to do business, you want to know who you're dealing with, who you're working with.
Yeah, you and I have been blindsided several times.
So many times, because people, they're cutting corners. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
you learn from it.
So. Well, you learn who you don't want to deal with. Yeah. And you know what? You get a sense that, and I think, sort of where it is now with us is that, because things used to come to the table or whatever, and I think we used to get excited because, this is great, yeah. Now it's kind of like, we take our time.
Yeah, you step back.
Step back. Hang on. There's no rush here.
Let's learn about this.
There's no rush here.
Understand what this group is trying to do or get involved in or how. So.
Yeah, and see what kind of people are they. Are they people who, you know, who will bring value, or are they people who are just looking to take? So, yeah.
Okay, question 6. How can someone begin to strengthen or rebuild their moral compass if they feel they've drifted away from it?
Okay, so for this one, I really think, once again, I can't speak for anybody else, but I really think for people to rebuild or to even start to develop character or, you know, a moral code, is they have to start with what they care about.
Yeah.
It's rare that you're going to basically sort of sabotage or risk, you know, or sacrifice something you really care about or someone you really care about. If you have a situation you care about, most likely you're going to do the right thing to preserve that.
Yeah.
So I think I think if you're asking somebody who really they don't care, you know, they're indifferent. If you're asking them to be accountable to something they don't care about, chances are they won't be. Right?
True. And I think in today's world, like everything is so fast and everything's always going by you.
Yeah.
So maybe to take some time and step back and sort of reflect on stuff.
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think though, because things are so fast, because everything is going by you, because there are people who are cutting corners, I think you have to basically decide where you want to fit in, irrespective of what is happening in the whirlwind of life. True.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen anyway, right? Yeah. And, you know, there used to be a saying, oh, mirror the person's energy that you're encountering. And I don't agree with that, you know. That might have worked years ago, but today, most people's energies are chaotic. They don't, they don't.
Having everybody being chaotic.
Yeah, it's not going to do you any good. That's not going to help you. So I really think today, and you know, they talk so much today about personal branding. It's so important for you to determine who you are in the face of fire, in the face of anything. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Just to go off on a side note, like we did one of the blogs we did this weekend. It was called PSA for Entrepreneurs, and basically what it was is that you know, a lot of entrepreneurship, it's made to look like really super cool and everything's
that's
amazing,
all you're seeing,
and
is
that's why you're seeing. But
the end point.
The reality of it is that, you know, it's a lot of conflict. It's a lot of, you know, up and down. It's a lot of you know, putting out fires, you know,
all
the time, you know, there's always something new to deal with. And so I think the thing is, the important thing is that you have to be steadfast in who you are and accountable to who you are, and just deal with it. Yeah. You know, I think that there's so many people who come into the entrepreneurship game and they think, oh, this is going to be fun, this is going to be cool, when
most of the time it's not
most
fun,
of the time
and
it's
not cool.
No, you're dealing with stuff. And so really that's where I think accountability plays a large part. If you're not willing to be accountable and honest with, you know, it's fine to basically want to be successful, but if you're sitting there and basically waiting for the $1 billion check to come in or the $1 million check to come in, then you're not going to make it there, because it takes a lot of hard work and sacrifice, you know, and you're going through so much adversity to get there, and that's where the character basically is being built. But that's the most important thing for the account. Like if you ask any billionaire how they become a billionaire, they'd be like, they take every call. Yeah. They handle everything that they have to do. They prioritize it, but they will handle it. I learned this from Walter, your friend Walter Thompson. Yes. Yeah. He did not shirk anything. No. And that lesson it's been worth tremendous, because, you know, if you are totally accountable, you actually will get the opportunity to, be able to stay at the table, because people will get a sense that, hey, this person is real. I know what I'm getting. But if you only answer the calls you want to, or if you only do the things that you want to, and if you only wake up when you want to, like our schedule is changing now, but for a long time I could sort of, fix my own schedule. But anything I had to do, I'd make sure I was present for.
Yeah, of course.
That's how you keep going. And so, yeah, really when it comes down to the whole thing, you can't cut corners if you want to be an entrepreneur. You can't cut corners if you want to be running your own ship. Yeah. And I think for most high paying, high profile jobs, accountability is everything.
I would think so.
Yeah, at that level.
Because you got to keep everything going.
Yeah. Like if you're the boss of a Fortune 500 company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You can't decide when you want to basically answer, or when you want to go in, or
no.
So that speaks volumes about how important it is to basically have some kind of responsibility, accountability, and code to get things done. Because I don't think if you're going to basically be picky and choosy about what you choose to address, you're going to basically get to the highest level of the food chain. And it doesn't matter, North America, Asia, South America, Europe, they all require somebody of high proficiency functioning.
Exactly. Okay, question 7. If you could leave listeners with one piece of advice about building character and staying true to the values, what would that be? You've kind of already answered that.
I'd just say do it even if you don't feel like it, and just basically be honest about who you are and what you want.
Exactly.
What about you? What would you say?
I think it would definitely be to, I guess, stay. Oh my God, my words are not coming out today. Just to stay in the moment and make the right call.
Yeah.
When you're doing it.
Yeah. Because, so own up to the situation. Like own up to your circumstance.
Well, because a lot of the times you've got a lot of things on your plate and you can't deal with everything at that exact moment in time.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
But to deal with it and get through it.
I think the bottom line for me is basically you have to decide who you want to be. Like it's a personal decision. Like you want to, like I've decided that I want to be, I guess just, do the right thing. That's all I can do at the end of the day is basically do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to do what's right for you. And think about how that'll impact you. Like
it's always worked out for me.
At the end of the day, you want to be proud of yourself.
Bottom line, I want to be able to, whatever the situation is, get up, look in the mirror, and go, well, you know what, I did, and then sure, not everything has always worked out the way I wanted to, and sometimes you're left with 2 bad decisions, so it doesn't matter.
Both of them are bad.
Both of them are bad, so it doesn't matter, how right you want to feel. That you have to make a decision, but I guess the lesser of the 2 evils. I mean, if that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But when you're past that situation, like even when you don't make a decision, it is a decision. It is a decision, and so basically, you have to keep all that in mind, and you literally have to basically go out there and do whatever you need to do to get where you need to go. But while you're doing that, I think if you're honest about it and say, you know what, I don't feel good about this, but I have no choice here.
Yeah, this is my
only choice.
So I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. And you take responsibility for it, whatever the outcome. Then, you know what? You're living by your code.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Anything else before we start?
What are we starting?
Just the closeout.
No. I think that's good. Yeah, I think we covered it. By the way, this was... The reason I came up with this is because I think the further on we get in this whole process, the more I realize it's more about who you are, as opposed to there's no formula for success or formula for winning, or it's just who you are.
Yeah, and if you keep growing and
If you keep growing, keep developing,
then you're on the right path.
You're on the right path. Yeah,
and you'll get there.
You'll get someplace.
Yeah,
someplace better than where you were before. So really, the more you grow, the better it is for everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we want to do this. But yeah, it would though. I'm not trying to sound all preachy or nothing. Just still go do you, be you, but find some kind of code, something that basically keeps you honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Well, it's better than what chat wrote, so we'll just
we'll leave it there.
I'll conclude it with thanks for tuning in to episode 13 of the Level Up podcast.
Thank you, guys.
And if today's episode inspired you, share it with a friend who could use a reminder that strong character is the ultimate level up.
Ultimate flex.
Mm-hmm. So don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We really appreciate it if you could do something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then hopefully it'll reach out to more people. And that's it for this week.
That's it.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
See you guys.
And we'll make sure we do it on the proper day.
Yeah. Sorry.
Apologize. Okay. Bye.